All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh, straight out of Ronkonkoma, New York. At the board, Spidey, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. It feels good to be back.
It does feel good. It's been how many, 3 weeks?
It's been like 3 weeks,
Three-week hiatus, right?
Yeah.
What'd you do, like an Aaron Rodgers thing? You went into the darkness or something? Was this a darkness retreat?
I was sick for a week, and then I had work, kind of like overtime, I guess you could say. And then something else happened the third week.
I heard you were 90% leaning towards retirement when you came out of the darkness.
Yeah, but I'm back. It's comeback season.
90%.
Leaning towards
90%.
Yeah.
So I want to welcome everybody for coming back on this wonderful Thursday. The First Lady, Maria Davis, Roy Batiste, Phil, how are you?
What
up? Welcome. Bobby Farmer, what's up? Happy Thursday. ESO. How are you? Who else is there? We always want to welcome you to Long Island's #1.
I don't think we should be doing that no more.
Why?
I think we should be calling ourselves the world's #1 broadcast.
Wait a minute. You know I'm all about not lying and doing
That's
that
not
type
lying.
of stuff. No, but
haven't you heard?
No, I haven't.
Jim Beam said so.
That's right.
You haven't heard? This is not a debate anymore.
We actually want to welcome our new sponsor, Jim Beam, to the world's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. And how to start it off, none better than with the great Ahmed Johnson in the house.
This is fabulous.
But we want to thank the Monte The Pharaoh family. If it wasn't for your guys' support through all our trials and tribulations, this opportunity would have never come our way. So we thank you all. God bless you, everybody. God bless everybody.
All right.
All right, so moving forward, the world's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Don't like it? Too bad. Drink up.
John Romita Sr., co-creator of Wolverine, Kingpin, Mary Jane, and more Marvel characters have passed away. Yeah. It's a sad day for the publishing world as John Romita Sr., which, by the way, I have a signature.
You do?
Oh, yes, I do.
Lovely. Of
all the Sinister Six,
or
the 5, or whatever.
Do you realize who we lost here?
Fill everybody in, man.
Well, first of all, John Romita Sr. is basically in the top 5 all-time greatest, most important, comic book artists. He began on Daredevil. Stan Lee, recognized his greatness. He had done some work there in the 50s. For DC, believe it or not. He had done a lot of little different things, and Stan Lee caught on to the fact that this guy was mega talented and asked him, would you possibly do me a few drawings? Romita broke out his idea of what Daredevil should look like. Daredevil had already been started, but he gave him, an awesome couple of drawings of Daredevil, and he was like, I want this guy to do Spider-Man for me, because he was fighting with Steve Ditko, the original great artist of Spider-Man. And Romita is responsible not just for, the Wolverines and the Kingpins and the Mary Janes. The guy was behind Rhino.
Wow.
Okay,
Rhino.
He's behind Rhino. He's also behind the death of Gwen Stacy.
Wow.
With the Green Goblin.
Very good.
And not only that, his seed was so powerful that his son, John Romita Jr., was responsible for a lot of great characters, too. Legendary run in the X-Men. The family line. This is the bloodline. It's right here.
Pretty impressive.
Romita Sr. and Romita Jr.
I'm more amazed that you know all this stuff.
I'm a comic book freak. You know that.
And all I do is have a picture of my board.
You got the autograph. I just got the information. You're the one who's going to eat well tonight. I could just tell stories.
More importantly, everybody's got to weigh on this because this is really important. Studies just came out.
Oh, come on.
The penile length dating back to
penile length.
Share
you out there? I hope you're watching this one. Get a load of this.
Eisenberg, he and his team compiled data of 75 studies conducted between 1942 and 2021 on nearly 56,000 men. They found the average erect penis length increased by 24% over the last 29 years.
Okay.
The trend was apparent in different regions of the world, he said. How's it hanging? The average erect penis size for an American man is 5.35 inches.
That's terrible.
It is not.
Oh, boy, talk about selling ourselves short. That's awful. 5.35? That's horrendous. You don't even got a half a foot.
Spidey,
a
what
Frankfurter
are
going on
what are you
there.
thinking about
What are
that?
you talking?
5.35?
Spidey.
Erect.
Jimmy must be built different.
You're damn right. I'm built different. But let me ask you a question, Spidey. Are you in the 5.35 range?
I'd kill to be in the 5.35.
Oh my god!
range.
Listen, there's no shame there, dude.
That's a
I'm
small.
gonna have to ask Ahmad.
That's a
We're
small
gonna have
contribution
we're gonna
to
have ask-
society,
we're gonna have to
Spidey.
ask
That's
Ahmad
what I do.
If 5.35 is small.
5.3 for Ahmad? I'm afraid to get the answer from Ahmad. Oh,
Here's a
geez.
real scary part.
Yeah,
American males were bested by northern neighbors in Canada, clocking in 13th place.
Wait,
Canada.
French Canadians. Oh, oui.
Oh my
That's
God.
horrible.
Here's a list.
Yo,
you want to
don't
put
go-
that? Want to
Yo.
put that list up?
Ladies, hit Ecuador.
Ecuador 6.93 inches.
We got to say that. Wow, they got baseball bats over there. All right.
Cameroon. Where's Cameroon?
I don't know, somewhere over there. I don't know. I have
Bolivia.
No idea. All right.
Tony Alice. Bolivia. 6.50.
But in the sands of Sudan. 6.58.
The United States at number 60 at 5.3.
Dude, we really came up
We
short.
beat the United Kingdom, though.
I'm feeling mighty small. Yeah, the Brits are actually, their wankers aren't doing too well, are they? Yeah.
France even beats us.
Well, they're romantic.
Canada?
Yeah, this
Terrible.
is awful. Dude, they got bigger wieners in Egypt.
Can't stop it.
But they should, though, because in Egypt they have pharaohs. So that's
So
really
maybe
where
that's
I
what
should
it
be.
is.
I
Maybe
mean, for
that's what
God's
it is.
sakes, I'm like 7. What is this garbage? This is terrible. Especially when I'm excited, I'm 7.
Do you think that's erect.
Did they? And how do they go about this? Okay, get in the line.
Yes.
And what did they do? Rub their genitals?
I think they go
okay.
from. I think they go
All right,
from
let's
the.
see.
What is
Hey,
what is
what
the
do we-
section between the hole and the nuts? What is that called?
The what?
The gooch. I don't know. I don't
You
think
mean
it's called
the
the
shaft? Aren't you talking
No,
about
the
what-
gap.
the
Anyway,
gap?
you
That's a
measured.
jeans
You measured
store.
from that spot to the top of your penis.
That's
right?
ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous. I've heard of a foot-long Frank. We're not even a half-foot Frank.
Dude, if you're 7 inches, you're bigger than
Yeah.
every country in the world.
Well, I'm bigger than every country in the world.
Wow.
That's the way it goes. And let's not get into width. I want to study next week on width because this train gets stuck in every tunnel.
Listen,
What?
Look, you
What?
can measure penis size by this.
What is
everything,
that?
Everything in your body
Is that the width?
everything in
terrible.
your body is symmetrical, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this is my penis size. Let me see yours.
Oh, you're doing fine.
Let me see yours.
That's fine.
Let me see yours.
Oh, Jesus
I
God.
think you might be in trouble. No, don't put them together.
I got to go like this.
That's not.
Yeah, I got to go
I
like
don't think.
this.
I think he's cheating.
I'm not cheating in the least. I'm actually very faithful. Wow, look at this. Wow.
All right,
Yeah, something
June
like-
22nd. That's next week, next Thursday. Tommy Cairo in studio.
Nice,
We have
nice.
something called the Tommy Cairo story. Tommy
Awesome.
Cairo, former ECW original.
Yes.
Tons of stories.
Yes, yes,
Tommy
yes.
had some health issues within the last
Yeah,
year.
wasn't he
and it's going to
stung
be great
by
to see him.
something? A
Well,
jellyfish
let him
or
tell. He's got stung by a
something?
jellyfish.
Yeah.
We'll let him, he'll get into it.
Okay.
June 24th. That's a Saturday, 11 a.m. We've
Oh,
got
my
Big
God.
Brother star JoJo.
Hey, can we
in
measure
studio.
that day? You're going to need 2 rulers.
Wow.
I mean, come on. Look at that. What are you talking? Fantastic.
And then on June 29th, the wife of Wahoo McDaniel.
I gotta ask you something.
Miss Karen McDaniel, who, by the way,
how did
is
you-
stunningly beautiful.
She is, number
Stunningly
one.
beautiful.
How did you get Wahoo McDaniel's wife? How does this work? Hello?
Because we
is
are
this Wahoo
because
McDaniel's
we
wife?
are the world's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Because Jim Beam said so.
Listen, it's gonna get tough. Some hard. We've been doing this Long Island shtick for a long time.
Oh, that's
It's gonna
enough
be
of
hard to
that.
break. It's gonna be
What
hard
are you
to break
talking
it.
about, Fling?
I would
That's
like
done.
to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte The Pharaoh and Jimmy Farrow, along with his partner Bart Griggs, Make Up the Fan, Wisteria Hall.
Bart, man!
Wisteria Hall sings such songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Far But Here Comes the Rain. You can
Yeah.
find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page.
Yes.
Go hit there, like and subscribe.
Yes.
And then while you're at it, hit the Monty, like and subscribe.
Triple yes.
Download their music on Spotify, Apple Music, Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching the world's #1 pro wrestling
You're a natural
broadcast.
already.
Monty The Pharaoh. Catch us on the Monty The Pharaoh YouTube page, Monty The Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, and catch us on the Monty The Pharaoh Twitch TV
Hold
page.
on, Spidey. Take that off. That says Long Island. Take that off. Keep going.
Well, he
No, it says Long Island.
We
have to get the new graphic. But in the meantime, that is fraudulent. We're the world.
If you're lucky enough to live in New York, where you'll get the consolidated version of this great WWE, WCW pro wrestler Ahmed Johnson on channel 115 every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturday at 11 a.m. and channel 20 at Tuesdays at 7 p.m. where over 150,000 people watch us weekly.
You know, even my mother watches. I couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable.
She was like, I saw you on TV the other night. I had no clue what you guys were talking about, but it was interesting.
Very good.
I was just like, oh, well, my mom
always like to hear from your mom.
Yeah, she'd check it in. I was like, wow.
And
shocking.
we're part of something called the new app Intuitive.
Yes, spelled INTUITIVE.
It's a free app. Download it for free. You got movies. You got documentaries. You got everything, man. It totally rocks.
Yep.
It totally rocks.
Yep.
It's free.
It's
free.
Unlike those overrated Netflix and Hulu, this shit is not overrated, and it's free.
It's perfect. Absolutely.
It's perfect.
Absolutely.
And it has us.
And it has us as the anchor show.
There you go.
We'll be right back with who we consider a good friend of the show, Mr. Ahmed Johnson.
I love Ahmed. We shall return in a moment.
Sir?
Ah.
Manscaped?
Uh-huh.
Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped, what are you thinking about
Love
Manscaped,
it.
dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
so Manscaped is a must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man, it's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this, but if you're going to go do the deed on a woman, would you rather have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or full retro bush?
Retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well-manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start, where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's very interesting.
Like that.
I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured, you can see both sides. It's not
like blinking lights on both sides of that.
I don't want, I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that.
Gotcha.
As well.
Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey. The older I get, though, I don't think I can be as. I
found it.
Have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
what is it?
Retro?
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa!
Wow!
Yeah,
like it pops out.
Do you walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. Yeah, he's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I couldn't say it. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but with that, we're going to take a quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop. All right, welcome back to the world's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. And here's our special guest, Mr. Ahmed Johnson. How are you, sir? Can you hear us?
Where is he?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
All
okay,
right,
good.
all
Woo!
right.
You had me nervous.
Man, you scared us there.
It must be that Red Sox jersey you're wearing.
By the way, Phil out there has corrected a few things.
Phil?
It's called the taint.
Okay.
That is between
That
the
part of your-
a-hole and the balls.
Ahmad, you want to measure in on this survey about the length of America's wieners?
Well, you got me sitting here measuring mine now.
Okay. Would you pull out a yardstick or something, or what's the story? How we doing?
I don't
how we
believe that
doing over
survey's
there?
right, man. I believe American men are the men. I don't believe that survey. The American men are the men.
Yeah.
And like some women say, it's not the size,
Right.
it's the motion of the ocean.
There you
The
go.
motion of the ocean.
By the way,
That's
you look
nice.
fantastic, man. Holy cow. What are you doing with yourself
you.
nowadays? You look great.
Man, I'm just trying to cut this weight down and trying to get back on board, man.
Did you always have a problem with your weight? I mean, obviously you were built like a brick shithouse. I
Yeah.
get that,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But, most heavy lifters like yourself, we all fall into, I don't want to put myself in his category, I'm just saying.
I got it. Big dudes who lift. That's
but-
fine.
Weight is a problem. Have you always battled with your weight from a younger person till now?
Yes, it took, time to get down to small as I was. So it was, I stopped. I mean, I stopped working out for a little while and it just like ballooned, man. Because I wasn't touching any weights.
What was the heaviest you got?
The heaviest I got, I would say close to 500.
Get
Holy cow. Wow.
Get out.
Yeah.
And what are you at now? Because you look great. You do. You look fantastic.
Now I'm down to like 3.
3.
Wow. You look great, man. Congratulations. Keep it up, man.
Thank
How's
you.
your blocking ability? You want to play for the Jets by any chance?
What do you think about Rodgers being there?
Oh, I love it. Were you kidding me? He's telling me not to say the magic words of, SB, that last game of the season. I'm not allowed to say it. But I'm thinking pretty big right now. I'm pretty happy about it.
Why don't you weigh in on that? What are your thoughts? How far are our New York Jets going to go?
I think they might make it to the playoffs.
Might? Wow, what a
Yeah,
glowing...
they might make it.
What do you mean might? What is this might stuff? We won 7 games with a high school quarterback last year. Aaron Rodgers
But
is not going to get
correct.
us in the playoffs.
I must correct myself on that. Then they will be in the playoffs. Let's put it
Thank
like
you.
that.
That's better. You see
But
that?
that's the problem. But this wasn't just a be in a playoff move. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you what, you got to start somewhere. So let's start with winning our division and getting in the playoffs, win a round, and we'll see what happens. How's that sound?
All right, let's address the elephant in the room. Why are you wearing a Red Sox jersey right now?
What's up with that?
Well, a fan sent it to me.
Okay.
And like I told you before, I don't even know anybody on the Red Sox. But a fan sent it to me, and it was a great gift, man. So I wore it. They sent me the hat, a big collector's book, and everything.
Okay.
Nice.
Is it comfy? The jersey's comfy?
Yeah,
We're
very
gonna-
comfy.
We're going to have to send you some New York stuff, man. I can't have
Yeah,
you
this is
going
right.
on people's
Cool.
shows wearing the Red Sox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to.
So last
Cool.
time we saw you, we were like COVID era and stuff. Did you avoid getting COVID at all?
Yes, sir, I did.
Nice.
I avoided it. How? I don't know, but I did.
And I saw
Well,
that
I
you
know
were up in
how it got there.
you were up in New
Bunch of
York
prayers and
recently.
blessings, man.
All right, good. That's the way it should be. You were up in New York recently. How did that go? All the signings. How is it seeing all the fans? How is the fans' reception towards you?
Oh, brother, it was great, man. I mean, New York has some of the best fans out there, and they are wrestling fanatics. So yeah, I did great down there, man. It was something to see.
How's it make you feel after all these years? You got all these people showing up to see you. You must feel pretty good about your career in hindsight.
Yeah, I just turned 60, man. So I feel pretty good about it.
He turned 60.
Wow.
He looks fantastic.
You look great.
What the hell is your
Thank you.
secret? What is your secret? I look like, a corpse with long hair. Oh, my God.
You know what? There's some stuff called snail slime stuff that you can use,
What is it
and
called?
it's been working great on me. But
What-
it's slime from a snail.
Slime from a snail?
So what do you do? What do you do with it?
You don't put it on your wiener, do you? I mean, what do you do
No.
with this stuff?
Jesus Christ!
It comes in like a little bottle, man. You just scoop some out and put it on your forehead.
On your forehead? Really?
Not that forehead, the other, one on the top.
Well, two heads are better than one. Maybe I'll put them on both.
There you
Hey,
go.
that's what they say.
Ahmad, let's talk a little bit about, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the way this is phrased here, but, a lot of people say you didn't reach your full potential. I'm paraphrasing what I'm reading from here. Your impact on the wrestling industry, though, however, as a trailblazing African-American wrestler, I don't think that should be overlooked. You had a powerful presence and definitely a unique character. You left a lasting impression on the fans, as you just pointed out from your New York trip. And you paved the way for future diverse representation in pro wrestling. Do you look at yourself as a trailblazer? How do you feel about the impact that you left for other African-American wrestlers? And is it overlooked?
Yes, I think it is. And the fact that I opened the door for it in the WWF, I was the first one to open the door for it. I mean, I think it is being overlooked. One reason, because Vince is still mad at me for when I left. And the second reason, he told me that he was going to erase me from history.
Can I ask you what sort of argument there was? I know it's personal, and I don't know how much of it you've divulged in the past, but if you can possibly answer, what went down when Vince was like, I'm going to erase you forever? What sort of conversation is that?
It was, well, let me give you the whole story. The True Commission, is from South Africa, supposedly. And he wanted me to go out and let them hang me with a rope on national television. I mean, I know it's fake, I know it's not real, but still, I just thought about how many little kids I would affect with that, me being hung from a rope. So we got into a little, backstage argument, and I just grabbed my stuff and I left.
Was there any communication from him afterwards, like, all right, things got heated, come back, or was it, it was over?
No, brother, Vince ain't going to come back to you. He expects you to come back to him. But I'm not that type. I wasn't going to come back to him or call him. If he wanted me, he could have called me. But no, that's all my game there.
So last time you were on, we touched base on Ron Simmons very lightly. For me, as a fan, and being who you are and the incredible athlete Ron Simmons was, you were both driving towards a mission, actually, bringing black athletes to a higher level within the World Wrestling Federation at the time. Why did you two have so many problems with each other? I never understood that.
Well, Ron admitted on a podcast that he was on that he was jealous of me. He actually admitted that he was jealous of me. I think him being the first black world champion with WCW, and then me being the first black champion with WWF, I think he thought he was going to get that honor. And here I am, a kid basically coming off the streets and, doing what people tried to do for years.
Were you disappointed in Ron Simmons' attitude towards this? Because after all, I would think that, especially in those days, one for all for one would have been the much better way to go about this rather than have a pissing contest with you.
No, I think the whole nation was jealous, and they wasn't the only ones. I mean, I remember when I had Yokozuna, when I slammed him, I went backstage when Vince gave me the match, and I told Yoko, this is like my second match there. And I told Yoko that I've got to pick him up and slam him. And then Yoko told me, well, you can go ahead, but I'm not going to jump for you. And he didn't jump at all. It was like they were trying to embarrass me, but I got him up anyway and slammed him.
Wow. So Yokozuna, who was friends with all those guys, he was going out of his way to give you to try to make you look bad.
Right, to make it look, I couldn't do it, but he was surprised him that I got him up without his help.
The WWE puts together these really nice documentaries, especially on A&E recently. And, you just brought up Yokozuna, sorry. How was he towards you besides that one situation you just explained?
Oh, after that, we had a conversation back in the locker room about it. I was pretty pissed. And after that point, man, we were cool from that point on.
Were you disappointed at the fact of all the trash talk that's been said about you over the years? I would assume you are, but I want you to spell something out for me, because when I heard this, I wanted you to answer for yourself. I've heard it said that you did not love this business or respect this business, and you just weren't into anything about wrestling. You were just cashing a check. Can you clear that up for the fans? What does Ahmed Johnson feel about the wrestling business, especially in those days when you were doing it?
You know, the main drive I had was the fans. I mean, if it wasn't for the fans, there would have been no Ahmed Johnson, because the way they got behind me and gave me energy and, you know, on the real, and that intensity, that just came out. That's just me. And they've been trying to duplicate that for years and haven't done it yet. But that intensity was something, man, that came from the fans that helped drive me.
How about your backstage altercations with Austin and Vader? Can you shed any light on these instances?
With what now?
Backstage altercations. There's been, talk about backstage altercations with like Stone Cold or Vader. You care to shed any light on those two?
No, I don't remember any backstage competition between them. I didn't know they was having problems.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just curious.
That's fine.
Yep.
You teamed with Shawn Michaels, won the tag team championship. That's when Shawn was probably at his worst, right? That was the old Shawn Michaels, right?
It's quite the combo too. I'm trying to picture you two backstage, like, "Hey, great match, pal."
How was your relationship with Shawn Michaels?
Fake. I mean, he was, when you're in front of your face, he's one way, but behind your back, he's a totally different way. And that's about the time, they started smelling themselves. And he really thought he was Captain Yao.
So Dark Side of the Ring just had its first episode with Chris Candido and Sonny. And the reason I'm bringing it up is we're just discussing Shawn Michaels. You were around at that time.
Yes.
What was it like? Was it uncomfortable with all the scenarios that all the fans heard about Sonny, with all the wrestlers? And how did you feel about Chris Candido? And did that upset you when you saw Sonny having sex with Shawn behind Candido's back and whatever else?
Right. It didn't upset me because I didn't know Chris that well. But it made me, I feel sad for him, man, because he knew what was going on. Don't let anybody tell you he didn't. He knew what was going on, but he didn't want to mess his position up with the company. Although they didn't use him right, I don't think. They used him as jobbers, and Christian Candido had ability, big-time ability. But it just made me sad, man, to see a man that low, you know what I'm saying?
What did that make you feel towards Shawn Michaels or maybe some of the other wrestlers, right? Because we've asked this question to other guys that have been in the studio, and they've had all different thoughts. I'll use Scott Hall, for example. Scott Hall said, "I don't get involved in anyone's problems," and it was basically Candido's issue, and he could care less, and if Shawn wanted to get his, he could get his. What are your thoughts on that type of comment?
Well, I agree with Scott, but the fact that it's something that you couldn't look away from. It's like a train wreck. You can't look away from it. I mean, he was doing what he did to Chris, and they didn't even try to hide it most times. Like, I remember one time I was walking down in the back, going to the curtain, and Sonny's coming one way, and Shawn slaps her on her butt. With Chris standing right there. So that was just sad, man.
Did Sonny ever proposition you with your time in the WWE?
No, I think she got the message that time on the interview when she was rubbing oil on my chest. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do. And
I told her my mom always, and I told her my mom always told me to take trash out, never bring it in. She didn't like me after that.
She didn't like it, huh?
No,
Unbelievable.
she didn't like that at all.
Hey, if you had it your way, would in a perfect world when you could express your feelings without due penalty, would you punch Shawn Michaels right in the kisser?
Yes.
Nice, very nice.
And your feelings
Yes.
on Shawn Michaels now changing his life, do you think that's fake?
It's hard to believe. I mean, he was such a diva. It's hard to believe that he's changed totally. But if he is, more power to him. If he's not, then he's fooling the world all over again.
Thoughts on Sunny as a human being from what you know of her? Obviously, she's in jail, hopefully for life, but Ahmad Johnson's thoughts on Sunny.
Well, it goes back to that interview once again. I mean, trash, you take it out, brother. You don't bring it in. And unfortunately, Crick and Dito brought it in. Instead of breaking it off with her, let her do what she want to do. I believe she was a bad person all the way around, man. She wasn't a good girl all the way around.
This is a strange question, but I'll try to give it a shot. Talking about Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard claims he was almost world champion, but held himself back. Any thoughts on that comment from Bruce Pritchard?
He said what now?
He was saying that he claimed that he was almost world champion, but held himself back.
That you held yourself back, Ahmad, that they had plans for you to be the world champion.
No, what I heard was that behind the curtain, Shawn Michaels told Vince that the American wasn't ready for a black champion yet. Because I was going to have to fight him. And he told them that America wasn't ready for a black champion, as you see, and his match never took effect. But I do agree with Bruce too in a way, because I don't feel like I was ready. I mean, I was still green as, I don't know what. But I have to kind of agree with that a little bit.
Do you feel by you not going with Vince's storyline of hanging you with the rope and sticking with your convictions, was that a mistake in hindsight? Because maybe you could have done more for fans and young athletes out there if you just would have went with it, or do you still stand by your decision?
I think about it all the time, man, and in a way, I wish I probably would have went ahead and did it, but other things were playing this part in that too. Like all
what?
the drugs that were back there, all so forth, and then I caught myself taking Vicodin and Sama, which I never did. I mean, I never took an aspirin, man. I started taking Vicodin and Sama, and I didn't want to get in that rut and be the next one on the RIP list, So, I mean, in a way, I'm glad I left when I did, because otherwise I probably would have got caught up in drugs.
Did you feel lonely, too, like a man on his own island? Again, we're just fans. You lived it. But from what we hear or you see, it just seemed like the boys just either for whatever reason were jealous or they just didn't get along with you. Was that part of the problem, too? You didn't feel like you were part of a family?
Right. There was a lot of jealousy going on. And I, for one, didn't care. But the fact that one guy did, Razor Ramon, but not one guy tried to help me in the business. They could have put me to the side and said, hey, I'm at this, that, and other. But Razor Ramon was the only one that put me to the side. After my matches, he would watch my matches behind the curtain. And he pulled me over to the side and he told me, do more of this, do less of this. To this, do more of this. I mean, he just helped me out as much as he could.
Was he
and
like
I
that?
would expect that, Farouk being a world champion and being black, that he would have done it, put me to the side and help me out.
Right.
But that never happened. It was just jealousy.
Was Scott Hall like that in general with the up and coming talent, or did he just take a liking to you?
I don't think he's like that with everybody. I think he just took a liking to me.
Interesting. Okay.
So you just talked about Simmons not reaching out and helping you, which makes a lot of sense. Was he the same way towards like a Mark Henry, who also was green at that time, or even a Dwayne Johnson, or did you see him helping them?
No, I never saw him helping anybody, but he probably did help them because, I mean, he wasn't jealous of them, but he was jealous of me. But he probably did help them out a little bit. And, that would have been so cool if he'd have helped me out and talked to me, being that we were matched up together. And it seemed like he would have pulled me to the side and talked to me about certain things, but no, he never did.
It's really interesting.
Let's switch gears a little bit. I wanted to get your thoughts on the night that Owen Hart passed away. I know that you were, I don't think you were with the company at that point when he did, but your thoughts on the night that Owen Hart obviously met his untimely demise.
Man, that broke my heart, man. Because you talking about one funny dude, one good guy back in the locker rooms, that broke my heart to see, Owen go out like that. And especially because I heard the rumors that he was telling Vince that he didn't want to do it, that he didn't want to come down off the top of the ceiling like that. But, they got the ways of making you do what you got to do.
You think Owen Hart's wife, Martha, is doing Owen Hart's legacy a little bit of a disservice, not working with the WWE? She does stuff with AEW. She obviously hates the WWE. Is it a disservice, though, to Owen Hart himself?
Well, I think if she got with WWE, it would help her out a lot more with her situation and as far as her charity goes. But I can't blame her for hating them.
Do you hate Vince McMahon?
No, I don't hate him. I don't hate him at all.
Is Vince McMahon a good person?
I wouldn't say that either. I wouldn't say he's a good person. But, I mean, I don't hate him at all, man, because, he opened the door and let me in, So, and I appreciate that.
In the end, do you think that you were just resented because Vince had such an interest in you during your time there?
Into what now?
Do you think that in the end that a lot of the hatred you received or a lot of the, friction you got from the locker room, do you think that in the end it was because Vince McMahon himself was very supportive of pushing you and the other guys were all just a bunch of jealous fucks?
Oh, brother, you hit that right on the head. That's exactly what it was. You hit that right on the head.
Have you ever thought about possibly reaching out to a lot of your detractors and trying to, hey, let's have a talk about this after all these years of bashing? You ever thought about trying to clear the air with some of these people, or is it just like screw them?
Well, brother, I see where you just let a dead dog lie. I don't, believe in catching, reaching out to any of them. I mean, because it was what it was, and it's in the past. Mm-hmm. But if I had one question, I would ask Ron Simmons, why didn't you as a brother reach up and try to help me? If you, want to criticize me so bad, why didn't you, try to help me when I was there? I know the answer. Like he said, he was jealous. And then the whole nation was jealous because, I mean, you got to see, here this kid is coming off the streets, getting WWF, nobody knows him, and he's being pushed hard. And he became the first black Intercontinental champion, and Woodard became the first black world champion. And they didn't appreciate that because they had been in the business for 14 years, 10 years. And here this kid, ain't even been in business for a year, and he gets this kind of push. So they were very jealous. So I don't blame them for being jealous. I probably would have been jealous too.
Kevin Nash has a podcast called Click This. Seems to be a very intelligent guy. You talked about Scott Hall. He had a very close relationship with Kevin Nash, as you know. How was Kevin Nash as a human being?
How was Kevin Nash what?
As a human being.
Kevin seemed to be really cool, man. I mean, I didn't have any problem with Kevin, and he seemed to be a pretty cool dude, man.
Was anybody stupid enough to test you physically behind the scenes?
No.
Okay. All right. Just a lot of shit talking, but nobody willing to pony up.
Right, but the thing about it is nobody did that while I was there. I mean, if you're going to shit talk me, do it in my face or let me know what's up. You know what I'm saying?
So this was revealed years later. Years later, this all came out. You must have been like, what the...
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is all this all about? But they seen a running horse and they decided to jump on it. Half the guys don't even know me.
especially with the internet. You could just pile on. Yep.
We had D'Lo Brown on last week.
He's laughing already.
So D'Lo made a comment about you, which Farrell brought up earlier, that he felt that you really didn't want to be in the industry. You didn't care about the industry. It was all about yourself. And he took care of things in the locker room with you. You know as well as I do, I was trying to set up a call in from the great Ahmed Johnson.
Read it this way.
Yeah.
I love this.
And I screwed up the time. I apologize. As usual, I screw things up. But if you were to have that call in, what would you have sent to D'Lo last week?
Damn.
I first would have asked him, what is his definition of beating somebody up? You know, I've never been, first of all, if I've been beat up in the locker room, you guys would have known all about it, being sure, you know, in podcasts and you're in the business and you know all those little secrets and trades. It would have got out to you guys and the other podcasters so quick, or the Facebook internet so quick, if D'Lo hadn't beat me up in the locker room. I just like to know where did he get the thing that he beat me up at.
We got to get these two on at the same time. You need to. How did you put this? You need to not fuck this up. Fucking hey, unbelievable. That is great. That's all right. I'm fucking up tonight. I'm reading questions like I don't even know what the hell they say half the time. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, bro, I'd love to do on your show. Get him and me together.
I would love that. That would have been great.
We're going to work that out, and we're just going to let you guys talk it out. I mean, this is what I don't understand. Is it a wrestling thing? You have these feelings about Ron. I'm not trying to speak for you, but I'm sure as a young guy in the business, you know who Ron Simmons is. Yeah. You know what he meant for the business.
Yeah.
You have this opportunity to work with him, and you see there's a problem. How come you guys can't talk in the locker room and say, hey, man, what's the issue here?
Well, we could have talked in the locker room. I was willing to do that. But, you know, once he gave me that kick and lacerated my kidney, and then I hear him saying, you know, after I left, I hear him saying that he did it on purpose because he was jealous.
Ooh.
I mean, that really burns me up, man.
Ooh. I want them on the couch, the two of them. Let's do it.
Wow. Does it hurt you personally that he said that he tried to finish you on purpose?
Oh, yeah, that devastated me, man. I mean, I wasn't expecting to hear that. You know, especially from another black wrestler. I wasn't expecting to hear that at all, man.
You try contacting him?
Well, I took it as an accident.
Did you try contacting him after he went? Did you try contacting Ron after he went public with that? Like to reach out to him? Like, what the hell is this?
No, because I mean, they all got their versions of the story. If you listen to Mark Henry's story, I hurt Farouk first by breaking his ribs. No, I didn't. I got the kick first, and if you look at the street fight with me and the Road Warriors, I slammed him through a table, and yeah, I tried to hurt him. So I broke some of his ribs and I slammed him through the table. But that was all from a receipt that he gave me earlier.
Right.
You sued the WWE for racism. What was the reason behind that?
Did I do what now?
According to what I read, you had some issues with the WWE with some racism issues. And it could not be true. Maybe I'm getting wrong information. But you sued them. Is that true?
No, I never tried to sue them.
Okay. Just information I thought I heard. You moved the
No, I never tried to sue them, but I mean, yes, there was racism going on. But I never tried to sue them. Mm-hmm. Because,
what kind of racism was going on?
It was, you know what, it wasn't necessarily with Vince, it was with the boys, with Sean and all them. It wasn't necessarily with Vince, I don't think. I think it was more of the boys.
Were you ever the victim of, like, you know, the N-word or, you know, anything of that level?
Yes, when I won the Intercontinental Championship, I went out to my car and somebody had scratched on it, "Congratulations, nigger."
Wow. That is pathetic.
And you certainly thought that was one of the boys, right?
I believe it was one of the boys.
Why wouldn't a guy...
I mean, I can't prove it.
Right.
What's that?
Understood.
I said I can't prove it, but,
you can't prove it, but...
Yeah. Why would a guy your size, and I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you, wouldn't take Shawn Michaels in the back and just slap the living shit out of him and put him straight?
Or are you instantly fired if you do that?
Exactly. You would have been fired on a heartbeat. Like I said, Shawn Michaels was back then with the Rockets to the WWF, now. I mean, he had the pull, he had the position, and you knew if you messed with him that he would have seen that you were fired.
And he actually had the power to stop your WWE championship run.
Yes, he could have. He could have. Well, he really did, because like I said, I was supposed to take him on for the championship.
Right.
But, what I heard, he told Vince that, America wasn't ready for a black champion. So that never happened. But it was setting up for me and him to go at it.
Did Vince ever tell you that he was thinking about putting the strap on you to make you world heavyweight champion? Did you ever hear that from Vince?
No, he kept that pretty low key. Even when I became Intercontinental Champion, before we went out the curtain, they usually tell you who's going over. And Vince didn't tell me or Dustin who was going over, except right toward the end of the match, the referee said, "Ahmed, you're going over." And that's how we found out I was going to become the first black Intercontinental Champion. And he did the same thing with the world belt. He wouldn't have told me until it was that time.
What was Goldust's reaction during the match? What? I'm just curious when you're going on the fly like that. I mean, somebody could be like, "Nah, I'm not doing that. What the fuck?"
Yeah, he was Goldust, man. He did the job for me, and I appreciate that so much.
Cool.
That he took the bump for me and did the job, man.
What happened in WCW? I remember when you appeared, it's like, oh shit, he's back. This is great. Why didn't that work out?
Because, number one, I wasn't ready to come back, man. Stevie Ray and Vince Russo met me at a restaurant, and we talked about it, and I told him no several times. And then I thought about it, and me and Stevie Ray had grew up in the streets together. I mean, we knew each other way before WCW or WWF. And so I couldn't see me let my partner down like that. So I told him, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. The reason I didn't want to do it was because I was out of shape. My wind was gone. I mean, I couldn't breathe or nothing because all that weight I gained. But I wish they would have gave me a chance to get back in shape. I would need at least 6 months to get back in shape. But that didn't happen. I mean, I had to go out there on the fly, like right now.
What are your thoughts on Vince Russo?
Vince Russo's always been cool with me, man. I don't have a problem with Vince.
Did you call him bro?
No.
Why not, bro? This is New York, bro. And by the way, you gotta lean forward because when you lean back, I see your Red Sox logo. You got to lean forward.
Okay.
Ahmed, so WCW doesn't work out. How come you then just decide to leave wrestling? Were you just done? Were you soured on it? I mean, think about what all the fans missed and what you missed out on.
Yeah, I decided to get out the business, like I said, because the drug running rapid was at WCW too. And it was just a bad feeling for me. I just didn't want to get involved in that game. And like I said, with all the injuries I had, I started taking Viking and Soma, and it didn't do me any good. I mean, it made me feel like I don't know what. And I had a daughter on the way, and I didn't want to, be that kind of a dad.
Do you feel that walking away from wrestling and all those traps that you saw may have very well possibly saved your life or from getting sucked into that sort of thing?
I believe that 100%.
I want to ask you about life after wrestling. You decide you're going to hang it up. You're this flash, this lightning bolt.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, do you apply for a job and does someone go, holy shit, it's Ahmed Johnson? I mean, how does that work?
Well, I after I stopped wrestling, I went and worked for an oil company called Dresser Rand. And the guy that run the oil company was a wrestling fan. So he just hired me one day, man. Got a phone call from him, and he asked me would I like to come work there, and they were paying outstanding. Well, oil companies, they're going to pay good anyway. But yeah, I just was being myself, man, and I enjoyed it.
What they have you doing? Pulling oil rigs out of the ground or something and putting them in other spots? Or... Sorry.
No,
Put them to
just
good use.
basically, we go out and check the oil tankers and do stuff like that, inspections and stuff like that.
Wow.
Was there any point where you were like, after a while, going, man, I'm Ahmad Johnson? Or were you like, you know what? I'm kind of happy where I put myself. I'm okay with this.
Well, you kind of hit on both of them. In a way, I was like, man, I'm Ahmed Johnson. I should be back in the ring, this, that, and other. But then I've thought about, once again, all the drugs and all the stuff that was running rampant in there. And I was like, you made the best decision, because in my mind, like the Lord was telling me that if I stayed there, I would have died.
So
that's not a chance I was willing to take.
Yeah.
One of the great interviews, and by the way, we're glad if that's a decision you made and you're still with us. God bless you.
Yeah, looking good.
Thank you.
Looking good.
One of the great interviews of all time is you, the Ultimate Warrior, and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels definitely high as F, right? Which you could tell.
Yeah.
Jim Hellwig, who knows what planet he's on.
Yeah, he's high without the drugs.
And then there's you. And to be fair, you know how much I love you and we love you. You didn't have the greatest mic skills. You were this intense beast.
Right.
Tell me what Jim Hellwig was like, and please tell me what that interview segment was like, putting it together.
Well, the Warrior, man, was like, when I first came into the arena that day, walked past the locker room, the Warrior was like, Ahmed, come get dressed in here with me, because he has his own locker room. And so I went in and got dressed with him. And, brother, he was just an outstanding guy. For me, I mean, like I told you guys before, you can only judge a man by the way the man treats you.
Sure.
If a man treats you like an asshole, then he's an asshole. If a man treats you good, then, hey, he's good.
Sure.
But he's always been fair with me. But that interview was like stirring up gumbo. Everybody had their own something to say, and it was terrible.
It actually wasn't terrible. It was pretty fantastic, just from my side of it. I thought it was incredible.
It's a very attractive car crash, you got to admit.
Do you?
Exactly.
Another strange question. Jim Hellwig says, Ahmad, come in. Let's get changed together. You start to feel comfortable. He's treating you really good. Do you turn to him and say, because now this is his second turn in the WWE, and
right.
We all heard the problems he had, right? He was almost an outcast in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he was.
Do you remain guarded, or do you break down and say, hey, Jim, I'm having some issues here. What do you think's going on?
Very interesting.
No, I was being guarded. I didn't let him know about my issues too much that I was having there. But he told me that I was a lot like him, because he didn't hang out with the boys. He didn't go drinking with the boys, go do drugs with the boys. And he would even check into another hotel so he didn't have to stay with the boys. But, like I say, he just seemed to be an all-around good dude, man. And I think that, me being that way, not hanging out with the boys, not doing drugs with the boys, I think that kind of rubs some of them the wrong way. Though he thinks he's better than us or whatever. It's not that. It's just that I wasn't into what you were into. I know my lane. I stayed in my lane.
It must make you feel pretty good to know that the Ultimate Warrior might have seen a little bit of you in his own self.
Yes. It made me feel real good.
Your thoughts when he passed away? Obviously, you do have some fond memories of him, and his death was an absolute tragic shock. He finally makes up with Vince. He gets in the Hall of Fame. He goes on Monday Night Raw, and I think the next day he's dead, basically.
Yeah, that was scary to me. I mean, that was just totally scary to me. And I felt bad, man, when it happened. But, you got to be honest. When you're taking that much juice, brother, it's going to get back to you one way or the other.
At what point, because at one point, no disrespect, you were like a balloon. At what point did you think to yourself, I better take it easy on this shit?
Probably, when I left WWF, I decided, that wasn't for me.
Were you having side effects from it? I mean, like what happens when you get that big and you look that much like a statue? I mean, what are the side effects to stuff like that? I wouldn't know. I'm built like a twig. But in your case.
Well, thank God I didn't have any side effects, but there's all kind of side effects that come with it. It depends on what you're using.
Ahmed, we were talking to John Cena Sr. He's been on a show a few times. And John Cena, sorry,
John
has been in, like, he holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, things like that, which is incredible. Did you have any opportunities to go to some children hospitals and be able to, help some of these children? Did Vince ever put you in that situation?
Oh yeah, brother. I've been to the hospitals and, been to the schools and everything else. He was pretty good about putting me in those situations. But the one thing about it is, even today, I still help out with the homeless vets. Because to me, that's important that, we try to get them. I mean, they serve our country, man, just like I did, and me being ex-military and everything, I just think it's a bad situation that they're in now. So I try to help them out as much as I can.
By the way, again, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is, in your opinion, is wrong with this country that we don't take care of the people that have sacrificed their lives for the freedoms that we have? What is wrong with this country?
We might need another hour for that answer, Ahmad, but go ahead.
I just think, man, that the people that's in charge, the White House, ignore them. None of them's ever served. I mean, as far as, going from Barack to Trump to Biden, they have never served, so they don't really give a damn about them. You serve and you shut your mouth and let me run the country and blase, that's it.
Do you think today's generation even realizes that World War II, in their true scale of time, wasn't that long ago? Oh, are they that clueless to,
I think they're that clueless.
Yeah.
I don't think they care, number one. And I don't think that they would, if they did care, they would know what to do with it.
I don't think so either. I was always afraid that if we do have a world war, they're going to say, I'm not fighting. There's something on my cell phone tonight.
Well, exactly. That's kind of gets me with the people from, what's the country that we send all this money to lately?
We send money to everybody. Who are we sending money to lately? He's asking which country we're sending all this money to. That could be anybody.
Ukraine, dude.
Oh, is that? But it could be anybody. Everybody. They take it. Oh, Jesus. I'll tell you something else.
Ukraine,
if the last guy was in the White House, I don't think that Russia's into Ukraine. But let's not get into that either.
Right.
Okay.
With the Ukraine, the African, and some of the Hispanics, you're not going to fight for your own country. So what in the hell makes you think they're going to fight for ours?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
and they're not going to fight for our country.
Truth. It's truth.
And that really makes me mad.
It should.
Especially when I look at the Ukraine, for all the people who went over there, came over here, the men, grown-ass men, wasn't willing to fight for the country. Maybe I'm crazy. I believe in fighting for mine.
Yeah.
But that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you feels more of an honor? Being a veteran for this country or being a pro wrestling legend?
Well, I graduated most distinguished undergraduate out of my class. Out of 2,000 soldiers, I graduated number one, top of the class.
Damn.
So that compared to Intercontinental Championship, it's a hard balance, man, because here we are in Wisconsin where people said they're racist and that and other, but they gave me the biggest pop I ever had when I won that belt. So, it's a hard decision to go between the two.
Well, I will say this for me, as a wrestling fan, some of the top moments that I remember, one, Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson winning those tag team titles.
Oh, yeah.
You winning Intercontinental title, and then Ron Simmons winning his heavyweight title in that order, right?
Yeah.
In that order. Tony Atlas, Rocky Johnson, because I was such a young guy, and it just holds deep in my heart. You, because obviously I was a huge fan of yours, number one, and you were an innovator. And I honestly, I was shocked. I could not believe it actually happened. And it actually it just was more important to me than the Ron Simmons NWA Heavyweight Championship or WCW. And that's not a knock on Simmons. It's not a knock on that match
They're all
either.
great moments.
If you could do anything different in the wrestling world, because everything else you've done has been fine, and so is your wrestling, what would you have done differently? Would you have acted differently? Would you have apologized to somebody? What would it be?
No, only thing I would have done different is I would have got somebody that could train me about what the business was all about. Because it's more than just being in the ring. It's, how you carry yourself outside the ring along with everything else. But I wouldn't have changed a thing. I just would have found a mentor that, can help me along and show me the ropes and what was going on. That's one thing I was lacking was I had no mentors.
They always say that The Undertaker is the locker room leader and has been the captain of the locker room for decades. Where was he during all of this? Did you ever go to him and say, hey, lead, what's going on in this place? What's with these dynamics? Was there any interaction between you and the captain of the clubhouse, The Undertaker?
No, brother, you got that right on the money. I didn't. I wish I would have. Instead of waiting for them to come to me, I should have went to them. So I'm not blaming Undertaker or anybody else for that. That was my fault. I should have got off my butt and told them, hey, can you guys help me along here and show me the ropes? But I didn't, and that's on me.
Let's clear up one rumor that I heard, which is just stupid, but was there was there any truth to you putting in some fake implants in your arms or in your legs? Is that, right?
What?
Man,
and if so, where can I get them?
If I had fake implants, they would still be in there. Trust me. But no, I don't know where that came from, man. I mean, I'm glad in a way. It's just honor because my triceps were that devastating. I didn't know it was that devastating for somebody to say I put implants in. But no, I've never had implants in my arms. Matter of fact, I couldn't even afford it.
Did you want to cut down on your size at some point to help you with your in-ring wrestling? To maybe become more agile, or did you want or were you stuck almost having to look that way because it's obvious Vince loved that look?
Right.
I mean, did you have any?
I wouldn't have cut my weight in the WWF because I was 350, and where you gonna see a 350-pounder dive over the top rope and do all these?
Looks like
the stuff I was doing. You can't find it. So I would have kept my size like it was until I started gaining weight in WCW. Then I would have. I hate that.
So it's hard for you to look at the WCW. Do you go back and look at your old matches? Are you even have an interest in anything like that?
Well, I do with the WWE. I go back and look at them and show my daughter.
Okay.
But she could give a damn less. But I show her anyway.
That sucks.
You will watch this now.
Yeah. This is an armbar. Check this out. What?
Right. You would think most kids who have Ahmed Johnson, their dad, would tell everybody. I mean, she doesn't even tell people at work. She doesn't show it to her friends. As far as she's concerned, she's just Nina Norris.
Wow.
Interesting.
It's good stuff.
This is my pop. He does oil. What?
That's great.
What's that thing on the wall? See, Intercontinental Belt. Who cares? I don't get it. Wow.
That's basically her attitude.
Interesting. Okay. She's keeping it real, though. She's keeping you in check, Dad.
Yes.
All right,
yes, I know who that is.
We're gonna let you go. Thank you so much. We have one thing last. Is something called the Pharaoh's Final Question. It's unscripted, so I don't know what he's gonna ask you. But again, I want to say out of our bellies, I think maybe I could say this.
Bellies?
Is thank you. You're always so polite to us, and you're always so willing to help us out. And I got to tell you, not I'm just a fan. I'm glad I could call you a friend. And if there's anything we could do for you, we would do it in a heartbeat. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
Okay, brother. Y'all just two good interviewers, man. The best.
Thank you.
Thanks,
so,
brother.
I mean, I take that and I'll run with it. Jim Beam did a good thing by joining on with you guys, man.
I appreciate that, sir.
A toast. All right, Ahmad, let's go. I was thinking about something that I've been thinking about a lot lately because of the recent arrival of number 8, formerly number 12. Do you think in our lifetime that the Jets will ever win a Super Bowl? Come on, Ahmad, be nice. Please.
Tell
In
the
our
truth.
lifetime,
Tell the truth.
in our lifetime, maybe he could pull a Tom Brady off. I mean, Aaron Rodgers seemed to be better than Tom Brady at that time. So maybe Aaron Rodgers could pull one off.
You see, there's hope for us. Because he's convinced we're both going to the grave, and that's that. We're not going to, you know.
I appreciate you trying to be nice. I know what you really want to say.
What? What does he really want to say?
He wants to say no.
Don't, Ahmad, do you really want to say no? Am I being delusional as usual?
No, I believe with Aaron Rodgers and once they get their shit together, I think they're going to do great.
You hear that? Not good. Great.
Right.
Great means only one thing.
Well,
Z-ring!
Yeah, good.
What?
I'll see you in a couple months.
Oh, no.
My one last question to your millions of fans out there, and then obviously the dirt sheets and everything else. If you had a bunch of fans there and they wanted to know the truth about Ahmad Johnson, the man, as a wrestler, as a human being, what would you say to these fans?
I would tell them that Ahmed Johnson was a character and that Tony Norris is somebody totally different, somebody they would love to know and love to have on their side. But Ahmed Johnson was just a character, man, and, you know, it brought some good fans aboard. I mean, I love my fans, man. But, you know, outside of that, I'm just a man.
If Shawn Michaels out of nowhere contacted you and asked you, would you come and sit with me at a Sunday service, would you do it?
Yes, I would.
Ah, nice.
I would. I would like to take his temperature and see if he's real or fake.
In church?
And if Shawn Michaels said, hey, Tony, let's get some rifles after church and let's shoot some innocent baby deers, would you join in?
Stand still for Jesus.
No.
You want it?
That I wouldn't do.
Okay. Fair enough.
Ahmad, thank you for joining us. You are a wrestling legend. You should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You will be in the Hall of Fame.
Better be. Yeah.
How do you know that a wrestler has made his mark in this great business? Because when you say his name, everybody knows who he was.
Right.
And that is you,
and
sir.
everybody jumps.
What was that?
Everybody jumps aboard, even if it's the bad, people. I mean,
There you go.
Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman.
Thank you.
Again, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you guys, man. I'm glad to be here.
Hope to speak to you soon, Ahmad. Thanks again, brother.
Okay.
Man, I love that guy.
I love that guy. I do
that
too.
guy.
I absolutely do. He is genuine.
First of all,
he's the real deal.
best voice.
I love his voice.
Best voice ever.
Great.
He is.
I mean, I wish I had that voice in junior high. Could you imagine me walking around, even though I was
God.
10 pounds? If I had that voice, it would have been
How good does he look right
He
now?
looks fantastic.
There's a picture on the internet where
Outside
he
of the
looks-
Red
he
Sox
looks
jersey.
very, very heavy. And again,
Really?
for us
Yeah,
who
he looks pretty good,
battle
right?
weight, no, there's pictures on the internet. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like if
All
you
right.
look, you were a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You watch the Attitude Era,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you even admitted you kind of like dissipated from it for a while because you just had enough.
Yeah.
Right?
It happens.
And then all of a sudden one day you're on the internet, right?
Yeah.
This new thing called the computer.
Right.
Right? And then, years go by and it's like,
remember.
Ahmad Johnson, let me think, let's see what he
Sure.
looks like now.
Yeah.
And you look up, there's some pictures where he's got some weight on him.
It's called getting older. Shit happens.
I get it.
Yeah.
But what's amazing to me is he looked great on the last interview.
looks
He even
fantastic.
looks better now. Had no idea to do to 60.
I want him to block for the Jets. I know I keep bringing our poor team up, but, he could probably do a good job.
Okay, I know we just had him on the show.
Yeah.
And I want you to be Pharaoh honest here.
Oh, what are you going to
Okay.
do to me now? Go
Where
ahead.
does
Go ahead.
Ahmad Johnson rank in the annals of history for pro wrestlers?
Dude, that's such a... We would be here quite a while for that one. First of all, as far as...
Bullet lines, right?
Let me put it this way. As far as what you said earlier, do you remember somebody? Holy crap, man! You're right. The guy was like a comet shooting
Ultimate
through the sky.
Warrior.
He was.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was absolutely memorable, and I still can. I just think back on. I never seen a physique like that.
Never ever.
I'm serious.
I agree.
And we've seen many different chiseled looks. That guy was a concrete wall.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was just amazed by he was a specimen, and I could see why Vince fell in love with him. To me, it's very unfortunate, and I don't blame him one bit for going, I'm not lowering myself and dealing with this junior high school bullshit in the back. That's probably something I would have done, and I would have needed somebody like you to go,
to say you're making
Jimmy,
a mistake.
Jimmy, like,
Calm
and
it
he
down.
was saying it. He deserved to have someone like that. He should have had someone like that.
Here's what I wanted to hear.
Right.
So he talked about Ron Simmons, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that interview. Ron said he was jealous of him.
I'm disappointed when I hear these things about Ron.
That's not the disappointing part to me,
There's a
right?
lot of it.
Because everybody's trying to fight for the top.
I get that part.
Here's what I would have liked to see.
Yeah.
Or hear.
Yeah.
Ron Simmons on that interview go, I really need to reach out to him because I owe him an apology.
He should have.
Doesn't fix anything.
No.
But in hindsight, as you get older, and we joke
You
about
gotta
Shawn Michaels,
know,
I'm
yeah.
hoping he's real. Okay,
Right.
we joke about it.
Right.
But like a guy like Ron Simmons, you had this illustrious career. You're this great athlete. I understand you got bit by the green jealousy. Everybody does.
Right.
You even went overboard and tried to hurt someone to
Right.
end their career, which is not good.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But then, when you look back and you think about what you did, you should openly admit and say,
Yeah, you did
I
something
owe,
wrong. You
I
did
owe this
something
man
wrong."
an apology.
And the reason why, not to shift to Sean, but I think the reason why a lot of people don't buy Sean's conversion is because a lot of us probably think he was probably thinking to himself about all his horrible behavior and feeling the pressure like, man, I got to do something.
Some things are unforgivable. You
No, I'm
can't,
saying that's
no,
why
no,
he
no,
may
I
have
got
done
it.
like, oh,
But
I'm going to go to hell for some of the crap I did. Maybe that's what he was thinking. I don't know.
It's wrong for me to
so
say
I'm,
this.
I'm
but
going to run this way instead of this way
you
now.
You can't hurt as many people as he hurt
Sean
and
hurt a lot of people.
use your excuse of drugs and your attitude.
No.
Right? I understand Sean wanted
He
to be the best.
manipulated so many people. What are you doing, smacking Sonny's ass when Chris Candido was
That's not even half of it.
No, I understand
Dude,
that, but in a microcosm, that's a pretty nice little example
You
of
have
the world
this
revolves
partnership.
around me.
You have
What
this
is that?
partnership with Marty Jannetty.
punch the
You
right
move
in.
on, you advance.
Yeah.
I understand it's life. But
Yes.
at some point you should look back and go, this brother is hurting right now.
You know something, Mr.
I should reach out.
How about this for a message right now to the converted Shawn Michaels?
Right.
Get your buddy in the Hall of Fame. Do something to remind Marty that he is worth something
There you
and was worth something.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's a great comment. That's
Okay.
a great comment.
It was right from the heart.
That's a great
Do
comment.
the right thing,
And
Sean.
here's the thing. So we've had wrestlers on here and
Damn.
they're not fans of Ahmed, right? We've got
Yeah.
it. Here's the thing.
But the world's #1 pro wrestling broadcast is fans of Ahmed.
Well, here's
Yeah,
that's
so
a great
there.
point. But
So there you go.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think I can tell if someone's bad or good. Like I could feel it.
I love this
Look,
guy.
I don't think D'Lo was a bad guy. I think
No,
he was great.
D'Lo's cool.
He was a great
He was
guy.
fine.
But
Yeah.
I think Ahmed was young, green, and had no guidance.
I agree. And as he said, and I think he was incredibly misunderstood, and his physique probably scared the crap out of half of them.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. He was a specimen. He really was.
Anyway, fantastic interview.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you. Same
Thank
to
you
you.
guys again for joining us. We love you guys so much. Again, thank you for allowing us to come into your homes, the Monte The Pharaoh family. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, next week we have the Tommy Cairo story.
Yes, we do.
Quick count on Tommy. Tommy was the original ECW. So this is
Right from the beginning.
This is like
The Morocco Snooker.
Morocco
Todd
Snooker,
Gordon, even before Paul
Todd
got there.
Gordon, right? Before
You know?
Paul.
Where is Todd Gordon? I want to talk to Todd Gordon. What do you
So
think?
Todd Gordon's book's coming out. So
Nice.
we will get Todd Gordon on the show.
He's awesome. That would be great.
To talk about his book.
That would be great.
Tommy was a bodybuilder, huge dude, really
Oh, yeah.
good guy.
Yep.
And, he's got a lot of stories to tell, man. I mean, look, everybody knows I'm not a fan of Tommy Dreamer of a wrestler and as a human being, and I don't care what anyone thinks. No. I don't like him.
No.
All right? I don't like Bully Ray. Don't like him at all either. And
that's been hard for me because you know what a big Bully Ray fan
absolutely.
I was, with Bubba and Devon and knowing Dion from back in the days in Elwood and stuff like that. But
R.J. Hudson says, by the way, Marty Jannetty definitely should be in all of them.
Oh, God, it's a joke that he's not. It's an absolute joke at this point.
I want to thank Spidey for coming back. Spidey, thank you for first show back.
Spidey, are you measuring yourself? What are you doing over there? Unbelievable.
Anyway, I want to thank you. Thank everybody. We'll see you next Thursday, which we got this Tommy Kairos story.
Sure.
Then we've got Saturday, JoJo from Big Brother in studio. Yes.
You can definitely measure me that day.
What? And then we've got Wahoo McDaniel's wife in studio. Not studio, awesome. Over the internet.
Sure.
I'm very excited for Karen McDaniel.
Absolutely.
And we want
to blown away you got her. I
want to thank the great Intuitive for having us on every week.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank Jim Beam for joining the world's #1 pro wrestling
The moment
broadcast.
the Pharaoh gets home, he's going to thank Jim Beam. So if you call me early tomorrow, there's a chance I might be under the table. But I will be profiling in style.
See you guys next Thursday.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh. And until next time, we love you all. Later.